Hey guys, so it's me, Nicolette Mashile, and today I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story, right? Back to story time. But remember that none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please speak to somebody who's certified and registered with the FSCA. So my car, I bought my car in 2015. I bought it brand new. It was a very exciting car when I bought it, but obviously because I'm an adult and because I'm a human being, you get over your car literally in less than 2-3 months, and all of a sudden you want a new car, right? But because I am the person that I am, I thought, you know what? Let me begazela with my car because I have other plans and I've got other financial goals that I'd like to achieve in the time that the years are gonna go by, right? So I kept my car. I kept my car from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. We are now in 2019. So essentially I've done really well, right? And I paid it off. So I paid it off, I think I paid maybe a month or 2 installments, and when I realized that yes, that installment was heavy, my friend, I decided to pay it off. So I've been driving a paid off car for quite some time now, so I've never really felt the pain other than those first 2 months of paying a car installment, right? So now I'm like, you know what, things have changed, I need a new car. Also because the volume thing inside my car kind of fell off. Don't ask questions, I will say no lies. I do not know how it fell off. And then also the other day I was driving out of the airport and I was parked too close to the pillar and I didn't notice, so the pillar hit the rear mirror, what do you call it, the side mirror hit the pillar, and now it's broken. Like, my car just looks like a bit of a mess. I've also haven't been washing it, so it just looks terrible, right? I mean, it's still sitting on 88,000 kilometers, so it's not bad. It's still a car worth of what I should, a car that I could still sell and probably get a good price, right? So now I've been toying around with this idea of buying a new car. Fine. So last week I decided, you know what, I'm going to go and look for a new car. So I drive into this what do you call it, car dealership, one of these expensive car dealerships, and I'm like, yes, I'm ready to buy a car. First and foremost, when I get to the gate, the guy asks me, why, what am I doing here? I'm like, don't they sell cars here? I'm here to buy a car. I mean, honestly speaking. So already my ego is feeling a punch, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like, okay, so you're probably judging me by the car that I'm driving right now, or the state of the car that I'm driving, because my car's still a damn good car. You're judging me by the state, you're looking at me and you're judging me because also I was down in the pits, feeling very down. So, and I wanted this car thing to also be a pick-me-up, which was already mistake number 1, right? Okay, sharp. So I now get into the car dealership and the salespeople barely look at me. And I'm like, okay, knock number 2, now my ego is really feeling this. Not a problem. I walk in and eventually a car sales guy comes to me and he starts showing me cars, but he's showing me the lower end of these cars that they sell at this dealership. And I'm like, excuse me, that's not the car I came here for. This is the car that I want. So I show him the car that I want. Wow, you should have seen this guy's face. He says to me, what are you currently driving now? I'm like, I'm driving a VW. I don't even bother to tell him which VW. And he looks at me and he's like, okay, so are you gonna trade it in? Because it won't really make a big difference in the price. I almost died of laughter. And guys, I legit almost signed for a car that truly, honestly speaking, I shouldn't have bought, or should not be buying. I'm still gonna buy it, but should not be buying for those reasons. Why? Because I just felt like I was undermined. And how many times do we do this where our egos are the ones that take the knocking and we make financial decisions based on our egos? So today's video, I want to talk about some of the financial confessions that you should be making. But because we're not in a church here and I am not a priest, they're going to be between you and your God. So let's start. Number 1, buying things because you are feeling undermined, right? Like a car, like a house, like a bottle in the club, like anything, right? Buying things because you're feeling like you're being undermined by the people that are selling them, or the people that are around you, or the people that are in your life. That's number 1. Number 2, buying a car on a balloon payment. To be quite honest, guys, buying a car on a balloon payment is a silly mistake. I don't care what reasons you might have for it. We don't need to debate this one even. It means that you're essentially buying a car that you cannot afford. That's number one. My first question always is, if you are buying that car now and you don't have the deposit to put down, where are you when you don't even have a car installment to pay every single month? Where are you going to find the deposit at the end to pay off when you had now a car installment? Do you know that balloon payments were actually made for companies that had fleet? Because they used to change their car every 3 years, or the car needed to be changed. So they created the whole balloon payment because it was an ongoing leasing type of contract. But this is not a video about that. Let's move on to the next confession. Behaving like payday is your richest day in your life. Stop trying to be a payday millionaire. And the first thing that you notice if you are a payday millionaire, or you've got tendencies to be a payday millionaire, is when your mood changes when your money comes into your account. So if you get serotonin pumping in your body because it's payday, you need to check yourself, my friend, because then you are a payday millionaire. It means you are that type of people that do all sorts of crazy things on payday. Let's move on. I've written them down, guys. So when I look down, I'm looking at the list. Right. Not bothering to negotiate the interest rate on any of your loans because you don't actually know your credit score. So you don't know your credit history, so you don't even bother to actually negotiate your interest rate. However number we are. Next, skipping payments. A lot of people say to me, but I pay. Yeah, but you paid late. No, but I pay, but you paid late. The fact is, you cannot make payments late, guys. And the reality is that a lot of people say this to me. They say, but I've paid, so why should I get penalized? The reality is, when you made a credit agreement, you agreed to pay on a certain date. So your payment cannot be late, because if it's late, you look like a late and slow payer. And that is problematic, especially for your credit history. That's why a lot of people say, but I pay, I'm keeping up with my payments, but they still won't give me a car or a home loan. Yeah, that's because you skip payments. The people that skip payments are also generally the people that decide which payments they're going to make this month and which payments they're not going to make. So they skip payments. Guys, one of the most disgusting personal finance sins to ever make is skipping payments. Did you know that South Africans actually prioritize which payments they make? They generally make their car payments, their home payments. Those are the payments that a lot of South Africans make. So it's important for you to understand that you are not allowed to actually skip payments, especially if you have a credit agreement in place. The other thing people do is that they withdraw all their money. So people don't just have 2 bank accounts because they're trying to get the benefits of having 2 bank accounts. No, they've got 2 bank accounts because when payday comes, they sit up in the middle of the night waiting for that money to clock in their bank accounts, and then they immediately transfer it to another bank account, and that is the account they actually use to transact. Meanwhile, they've given the debit orders to the debit order guys, the other account. The problem is that you are walking around saying, same thing with Summer, this is the body that Summer is going to get. Well, that might be the account that your debit orders are going to get, but your credit score is going to get a different type of beating. So it's best to just make sure that you actually pay your debit orders in the account that you said the money would be in. People who spend their bonuses before they're even in their bank accounts. We are going towards bonus season, and a lot of people are probably going to get a bonus, right? But some of us spend the bonus before it even hits our bank account. Guys, that is a cardinal sin. You cannot do that, because essentially what you're doing is you're treating your bonus money like it's free money. Bonus money is not free money. It is money that you actually have earned. So why not put it to actually good use? It's the same thing that people do. I did it too this weekend. I blew my tax refund because it felt like free money. It's money that I felt like I didn't really work for. But essentially, my tax money is my money. So I did actually work for it. So rather put your money to good use so that tomorrow you can turn around and say, that is my bonus, or that's my tax refund. Something that you're able to point at. This leads me into the next confession that people probably should be making is that they do not budget. Yes, maybe you do know what you do with your money every single month. Maybe you do know what you need to pay every single month. But the moment you get to a point in your life where you're like, I don't actually know what I did with my money last month, it's probably because you are not budgeting. So what you're essentially not doing is you do not have a spending plan. And when you don't have a spending plan, you are never going to know where your money actually has gone to. The next confession that a lot of us should be making is that we don't have emergency savings. So imagine if you get a letter tomorrow from your employer and they say, unfortunately, we will not be able to pay October salaries. Will you actually survive? How many cars are going to get repossessed in the parking lot? Because on top of that, people don't even know they've got credit insurance, so that when they cannot pay for their car, credit insurance should be able to pay for it. So a lot of us do not have emergency savings. So when something happens, the first thing that we do is we either go into our credit card, we dip into our overdraft, or we apply for temporary loans. And you know I love those because you don't even need to face anyone at the bank. You can do it on your phone or at the ATM. Very, very dangerous. The other thing that I'm brought to is people that live in their overdraft. You may think it's cute to live in your overdraft because your salary will come in next month, it will cover it, but you're constantly on a minus. And what you're essentially saying to credit providers is that you do not know how to manage your money, or you are living beyond your means. It is very important, guys, to stay away from the overdraft. An overdraft is not your friend. In actual fact, an overdraft is an ongoing loan that is just waiting for you to use it. That in its own is very dangerous. Right. Another sin or another confession that a lot of us should actually be making is the fact that we rely on our employers for our retirement. Fact is, Alexander Forbes has done research that says that South Africans can only replace 28% of their current income in retirement with however much they are currently saving right now. That means that in South Africa, a lot of us will not be able to afford ourselves in retirement. And what are we busy doing? We're taking up some expensive policies, life policies, insurances, medical aids that you will not be able to afford when you go into retirement. The actual benchmark is that you should be able to replace 75% of your current salary right now with the savings that you are making when you go into retirement. A lot of South Africans can't. So only 6% of South Africans can actually retire comfortably. Then this is because we make the mistake of depending on the employer for retirement. We don't look at other investment options that could pay out in retirement. Things like building a back room, buying livestock, buying and having a shares portfolio. Those are things that you should be looking into. And last but not least, entrepreneurship. Things that you should be looking into so that your retirement is supplemented. The problem is that a lot of us grow up believing that your children become your retirement plan. And that is what perpetuates a black tax. Oh, and my personal favorite. Get rich quick schemes. You know the thing about get rich quick schemes is that a lot of people that have participated in get rich quick schemes generally don't learn from the first event or from the first lesson. They may say to you, no, I'm more careful now. I now know what to look out for. Because you know what? They actually want that get rich quick, that quick cash. They really like it. People get addicted to quick cash. And that's generally the case with get rich quick scheme, is that somebody will benefit, somebody will make money. It might be you this time, but let me tell you something else. Someone will also lose. Might not be you right now, but it could be you later on. So people have that confession where they actually are addicted to get rich quick schemes. A lot of people, another confession that a lot of people can make is that they do not have a life insurance, but they've got a funeral cover. Crazy, but yeah, believe it. There's some people who don't believe that they actually need a life insurance. Yeah, you might not have children, and maybe you do not want to enrich some people upon your death. But the reality is that you need to have a disability cover so that if something is to happen to you while you are still alive, you do not become a financial burden for some people. Not only is it for disability, also dread disease cover. Also, what happens if you lose your income? Where is the income protection? You need long-term insurance in your living state so that you do not become a financial burden in case of an insurable event like a disability. A lot of us love doing this, and I want to come into the sun when I say this. And last but not least, a lot of us love doing this, is that we like to become we before you actually are we. before you are legally we. And you don't become we just by yourself, you become we with your money. You make financial decisions based on your relationship. You don't take the job in the next province because, ooh, uyachola. You don't actually fix your finances because, ooh, uyachola. You sign for joint bond accounts, you buy people cars on your bank account or in your name, you sign for contracts, very, very dangerous. And my personal favorite, lifestyle inflation. A lot of us suffer from lifestyle inflation. All of a sudden, you don't drink tap water because, wow, do you know what's in tap water? In actual fact, South Africa has got some of the safest tap water, so you need to relax yourself, right? I don't drink coffee because the other day I saw that coffee is not actually coffee. Oh my goodness, I can't eat meat from Checkers because Woolies meat is grass-fed beef. Calm down. Lifestyle inflation is not a bad thing. Your life is supposed to become better. The quality of your life is supposed to become better. But you've got to ask yourself, at whose rate is it becoming better? And what is the pressure that's putting you under so much pressure to make these financial decisions based on your lifestyle that you could really live without? I mean, honestly speaking, are you really, really, really gonna tell you that your personality no longer fits into a 2-bedroom, so you've gotta move into a 3-bedroom, yet you actually cannot afford the rent or the bond of a 3-bedroom? I don't know. So yeah, guys, these are my confessions. I've suffered from a lot of those confessions. I've had to go and sit with myself and be with myself and God and talk about my financial confessions so that I can actually fix them. Because the reality of life is that if you do not acknowledge the mistakes that you make, you are never going to fix them. What it is that you become is what we call a repeat offender. Mwah, mwah, mwah.